Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm Kamari Ellis. This is the Finance Pro Show. Today we are doing something a little bit different. Today we are going to talk about government contracts and the $125 billion opportunity that is available to all small businesses, or at least small businesses that qualify and do the work. But today I said, you know what? I'm not the one that's qualified to talk about this. I know I'm big about people being qualified, people having a track record, people being able to really back up what they talk about. So I brought in a good friend of mine who has been doing government contracts for over a decade and has actually been awarded multi-million-dollar contracts over this last decade. So today I wanted to talk to this amazing young lady. Again, like I said, she's a friend of mine, entrepreneur, author, podcaster, Miss Sirena Moore. How are you, ma'am? How are you doing today? And my machine is moving a little slow.
To see me, okay?
Sirena, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I just want to
said your name wrong. So let me correct myself before I get in trouble. I don't want no problems. Miss Sirena Thomas, because I said Miss Sirena Moore. I know you before those married days.
Sirena Moore Thomas is fine. There is one other correction. I just want to correct this one thing because we want to have a good real conversation.
That's right.
So in terms of what I have actually won, totaling in the multi-millions, but I have not won a single multi-million-dollar contract. So let's just want to make that clear because there's a distinction. So
yeah, there is. There's a couple zeros that make a difference.
Yeah, if we total them up, it's several millions, definitely. But I've never won multiple $1 million contract.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected. I apologize.
Just want to make sure. I want to make sure the people got the facts.
Well, listen, we talk about this all the time, kind of offline. We talk about the shenanigans and the lies, the blatant lies that we see oftentimes on social. So I appreciate that 1000% because I'm not here for that. I'm here for transparency. Right. I'm here for truth. I'm here for honesty. So yeah, I appreciate it.
There you go.
All right, everybody. So listen, we are going to talk about government contracting. We know we are in the throes of the coronavirus or COVID-19. We know there's millions of people that have gotten laid off over the last month. And a lot of people are running around with absolutely no idea what to do. Right. So one of the things that I always try to do anyway, even before this, but especially now, is to try to present opportunities and different things that we can get into. Right. Government contracting is a wonderful way to scale a business. Serena's always telling me that the government sells anything from yoga pants to dog food. She even proved it to me one time where she actually sent me a contract. So I wanted to just have Sirena come on and talk about government contracting, talk a little bit about what she's doing around government contracting, because again, she's been doing this for over a decade. So Sirena, just give the people a little bit of backstory about yourself.
No problem. So like Kamari said, well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate it. And I get a chance to tune in every once in a while myself. So I enjoy the information that you share. And I know how important it is for you to share like real tactical, practical information for folks. And we've known each other for a very long time. So yes. We've come through this like social media era together, watching a lot of people show up overnight as experts. And it's pretty interesting, right? So in terms of my background, right, when I first learned about the power of doing business with the federal government during my times at Elohim. So that was the cleaning contracting company that I ran for many, many years with my father and my brother. The company still runs today, but during my time there, I successfully got us 8A certified, so which is a certification through the SBA. It's like a business development program. You're in the program for it's either 8 or 9 years. And basically what they do is help your business develop. So you have to, it's an application process. They need your blood and your firstborn. But once you get into it, it's extremely powerful because you qualify for no bid sole source contracts. So just by having the certification and having the capabilities, you're able to get contracts awarded directly to you without ever competing in the public. So that program, a lot of folks get into it and are not successful in it, to be honest, because of whatever reason, and I used to knock on the SBA's door faithfully, religiously, weekly. I was on the phone, I was at the meetings, I was at the things. And the one thing that frustrated the mess out of me was the fact that they would keep sending me all over the place. It was like, go here, go to PTAC, go to SBDC, go here, go there. And I felt like no one at the SBA was prepared to give me like real business strategy. They were giving me a lot of information, but not practical, like application, not how-tos. And so that frustrated me for a while until I came across one individual who's a mentor to me today, Paula Watts. I don't know if you know her, but she had an 8A company at one time and it went down because of a bad business relationship. So she had actual experience winning contracts. And she started talking to me in a different way, about what all the things that I can do, all the possibilities. Well, long story short, during my time there at Elohim, we won, I got four or five sole source 5-year contracts in like a 2-year time frame. And those contracts.
Right, so hold on 1 second, because we're throwing around a lot of language.
Oh.
SBA, break that down for folks. I know it's good. But some people, I take it for granted sometimes, but some people don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. And the federal government speaks in all acronyms. So if I throw out any acronyms, then just tell me. But this SBA is just the Small Business Administration. And so the 8A program is a special like designation. It's almost like being MBE, WBE, but 8A is a separate one. It's hot. It's a really good certification to have.
And so for everybody watching, also MBE means Minority Business Enterprise, right?
Yeah, yes. And then Women Business Enterprise. And then you got SDVOSB, that's Small Disadvantaged Veteran-Owned Small Business. Then you have Hub Zone, which is based on location. And so you qualify for certification based on the location that you're in and the people you employ from that underutilized area. So those are like the certifications. So
you said one more thing. You said sole source.
Sole source.
Yeah,
that means that there's no competition and it's awarded directly to you. So you build relationships for these kinds of contracts. Like you build relationships with contracting officers. And because you hold this 8A certification, which is designed as, like I said, a business development program. So it's designed to help you kind of get ahead in federal contracting. That's the point of the certification. And so they can, and an opportunity can come up. So let me back up a little bit. The federal government has a budget, right, that comes out. We all hear about it, right? It's usually they say they don't have any money, and we know that that's not the truth, right? So the budget comes out, and then there's 39% of that budget that's allotted for small business purchases for basically opportunities for small businesses. So 39% of the budget goes to small business. That 39% is further broken down to 15% to women, 15% to minority, 5% here, 3% there. And, don't quote me on these. Go to sba.gov. For the exact numbers, but that's how it's broken down. So every agency has a participation goal to meet. So a certain amount of their contracts go to 8A companies, go to women companies, go to minority companies. And so when it comes down to sole source, if you're working with an agency that, they have some room and they need to award to an 8A, then they can award directly to you without you competing with anybody. So that's that. So once I did that successfully, I really started to see, okay, look, there's something to this because this is money coming in all the time. We can bank on this for 5 years. And the contracts that I won were in Texarkana, Texas, from Bristol, in Texarkana, Texas, Wyoming, PA, Folsom, Miami. They were all over. Most of those places I never, ever even visited. Like,
let me just say one more thing, right?
Yeah.
I know average business person is like, how can I do this, right? So when Serena was with Elohim, they also were not cleaning, small businesses or doing home cleaning, right? They were
Mhm.
cleaning large projects like a Target, right? I
Mhm.
remember that contract specifically
Mhm.
because y'all were running up and down the East Coast cleaning the Target. So they would
Mhm.
do, once the Targets were built, they would do the final cleaning
Right.
Target before they opened up to the public. So they were already in the space of doing a lot of this work. But I want to make a point here to say that even though they had good contracts, they use federal contracts to even grow even more.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh yeah. And so even if you are like if you're doing home cleaning, first of all, if you have any cleaning business right now, you should absolutely be doing business with the federal government. Like there is a contract coming out from the Veterans Administration to clean like 1,500 different sites or something 24 hours a day
Wow.
because of COVID-19. Electrostatic cleaning, disinfecting clean. I mean, one company can't do that. There's enough out here for everybody. And
So wait a minute.
so
Is everybody listening? Did everybody hear that? If you are a cleaning company right now,
you're
you should be
crazy if you're
looking
not doing federal stuff.
right.
If
You should
you're
be
not
looking
in
to do a federal
position,
contract. So tweet
those
that out. Share that with somebody who has a cleaning company, right? Because that's a gem right there.
you have to like if you have a cleaning company and I told the students that are in my class, well wait, let me back up. So the sole source stuff that I won, that got my palate wet, right? I was like, okay, this federal contracting thing is a thing, right? I wanted to do a whole division, just that. Well, I ended up resigning from that business, right? My dad and my brother still run the business. I went on to run another business. I started as a consultant with a small defense contractor out of Virginia. And I started with them, helping him get his employees together, hire the right people, do some things. And he ended up losing his business manager. And I stepped in for a minute for his business manager until we can identify somebody. Well, my step in for a minute, I won like 50 purchase orders from the DLA that month, right? He's like, Sirena, what in the world are you doing? Like, how are you doing that? And so long story short, I ended up becoming the chief operating officer for that company and ran the company for 3.5 years while the owner built his commercial real estate empire. And so all I did was supply Boeing aircraft parts to the federal government each and every day in, day out. Most of my contracts I won at Starbucks or at home. I'm not even joking. No technical proposals, just basically having access to the catalog, matching it with the needs of the DLA, marking up the price,
DLA.
shipping, and keeping it moving.
DLA.
Oh, sorry, Defense Logistics Agency.
Okay. I
So,
want
and they
to be able
are
to follow along.
so, and this is important to. I mean, Defense Logistics Agency. These are they manage the logistics basically for most of the federal buys, right? So when there are people deployed, when there are aircrafts that need to be repaired, they are like the depot. They're like the Home Depot of federal contracting. So I supplied spare parts for the F-15, F-18, Apache, Chinook. These probably don't mean anything to anybody, but they're fighter jets,
I know
right?
what they are. They're fighter jets.
Okay. So
Big defense.
exactly. So we did that. But then I've also won contracts to supply whiteboard paint to Kabul, Afghanistan. Like
Mm.
so there are the opportunity is limitless. You know, your time, your resource, your money is not. So what I do that's different from other folks like the SBA and some of the other agencies that teach on federal contracting, I show small businesses how to get in the door. And I do that by teaching specifically about micro purchases. So a micro purchase is a purchase that a federal contracting officer can use their government issued credit card to purchase from you. Okay, so there are, and it's all Freedom of Information Act. This is why I love this stuff. I can give you a spreadsheet of federal purchase card holders. You can literally cold call and ask them what they buy. But a purchase card, it used to be a $3,500 limit that they could use. Well, in 2008, that limit was increased to $10,000 that they can use on a purchase card. And because of the Stafford Act that's, enacted right now in the state of emergency, the purchase card threshold is 20,000, and it's increasing because if it's something that they need to buy right away, the contracting right now is so lenient because of the state of emergency. They just need stuff. And so they don't have to justify a lot right now. This is the best time to get in.
Okay. So let me ask everybody, did y'all hear that? She said micro purchase. So put micro purchase in the chat. Let me know y'all hearing this. Yeah. This is Jim. And so you also said that anytime, the contractors right now, they have a card that they can use to do these purchases.
Right.
Normally the level is $3,500.
It used to be the normal level is, it used to be $3,500. It was changed in 2008 to $10,000. So that's normal right now. Normal is $10,000.
Normal $10,000. Okay.
And right now it's at $20,000 on a purchase card.
Gotcha. And so again, the purchase card is, contractor is able to spend up to this or bill up to this amount of dollars, correct?
So yes. So basically, if I have if the contracting officer is in their office right now, they don't feel like putting together a solicitation, going through all these purchase requirements, they will look at the capability statements that they have, this is what I teach my students how to do, build their capability statement and get it in front of the right people, right? So the contracting officer, if they want to buy something fast and don't want to go through all the red tape, they'll say, okay, who do I know that can supply 200 laptops right now? They don't have to put that out to the public. By law, they don't have to let the public know. Now, remember, contracting officers are the people that spend taxpayer dollars. Let's be very clear. So there's a lot of regulation. But because there are some things that they have to buy fairly fast, the regulation is less. There's less red tape on the lower dollar value stuff. And so I teach my students how to get in on the micro purchase side. If you need 200 laptops and it comes up under 20,000, the contracting officer is going to be like, okay, who do I know? Go through these cards, go through these capability statements that can do this. And they call and they swipe. That's it. There's no long, you wait, 4,500 days to get your money. That doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's paid automatically within less than 30 days.
So the federal government, again, unlike state and local. So I just want to be very clear. I'm talking about federal contracts. Okay. I'm not talking state. I'm not talking local, your municipality, because I don't deal there. I think in my opinion, it's more difficult to do business with the state than it is the federal government. Here's why. One, the state's budget is driven by who? Right, the federal government. So it makes more sense to go to the source of the money than get in with the state. And then they say, oh, our budget was cut and we got to pay you later. So the federal is bound by the Prompt Pay Act, right? So they cannot pay you outside of 30 days or they penalize themselves. They put an extra dollar amount on their own if they do, but they are governed by the Prompt Pay Act.
So basically you go straight to the plug. No.
That makes more sense to me. And the other thing is too, Kamari, with the purchases, like right now, for the times we're in right now, with the Stafford Act enacted, the state of emergency, and all of this stuff, they are able right now because of FAR. Well, the FAR is the Federal Acquisition Regulation, right? There's a part in there called Part 18. Part 18 tells the contracting officer how to behave when it's a state of emergency. A couple of the lines in that regulation says they can do phone contracts. They can do what's called letter contracts. What that means is, hey, Kamari, your small cleaning company, look, we have these 3 bases that we need cleaned right now. If you can get over there today, go now. Don't spend more than $100,000. And that's binding. Like, that's the kind of stuff that they can do right now because of the state of emergency. So if your company can do, or if you can source, which I teach my students how to do, source product, find it, find the need, mark it up, and submit it. No proposals, right? But if your company,
Is there any limit on how much the markup can be?
I will say this because I don't know where this video gonna go.
Everywhere. We are broadcasting right now on YouTube and Facebook.
Oh God, well, this gonna live online. So let me just say that the margins vary. Okay, the margins vary. There were times, and this is legal. So there were times when I was, especially with the Boeing aircraft parts, there were times that the markup was like 200%. Not because I was price gouging, but because it was in line with historical pricing. So again, there's all this freedom of information. So when I would go in to put in a quote, sometimes that same part that used to be $350, if it was 20 and the last 5 purchases were 329, 315, I'm coming in at 305.
But basically, there's even a way to maybe be a little bit more competitive if you do good enough research.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you can be as competitive. And I mean, there are so many strategies. I ain't gonna give it all away here, but I teach my students how to win the contract first and then negotiate on the back end just because you have leverage now. Like you, so there's so many different ways to do that. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Okay. Okay. So I know you say from yoga pants to dog food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just told folks if you have a cleaning business, now is a great time to step into federal contracting because of all the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
What other industries? I mean,
Oh God.
could a food vendor or a caterer do federal contracting? Could a tax guy like myself do federal contracting? Could a construction person do federal contracting? I'm just going through the list of my clients in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could share my screen. Can I share my screen?
I believe you can. I believe you can.
Can I show you something?
Yes.
All right, look, tell me if you can see it. Because I mean, I see a share screen button.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see what it's going to share. Probably
Now,
going to share.
while Serena's sharing her screen, everybody remember you're watching the Finance Rebel show. All right, we're doing a special edition today on Saturday because Serena's busy. This is the only day we could do it on. Normally, I don't do interviews on Saturday, but Serena is the homegirl, the homie, so I made an exception. And I felt that this is something actionable that everybody that's watching can use.
Can you see my screen?
If you have it, if you can, be sure to share this with somebody, small business owner who's looking to grow their business and that is serious about growing their business, not somebody who's out here for play, but for somebody that's serious. All right. So now we are sharing Serena's screen.
Are you able to see it?
I am able to see it.
Okay,
folks,
I'm gonna make it bigger.
Comment and let me know if y'all can see the screen.
This is one of the things that I go over with my students. A couple, so I have the federal contracting boot camp. We're in week 4. I'm going into week 4 right now with my first cohort. The next one starts on May the 11th.
So wait a minute. Portable toilets and hand wash stations.
So wait, first look, lodging. They want hotel rooms is basically what it's going to be. For Fort McCoy. So if you are, let's say just this first one, right? If you are an event planner, what do you typically do?
Find venues.
You find venues, you find rooms, you negotiate prices with hotels. For this one, they want lodge, double occupancy, 57 double occupancy rooms for 3 nights. The quantity is 171. On this particular system, all they want is a price. You literally start your bid right here. Now, these are micro purchases, but these are more simplified acquisitions. So simplified acquisitions are under 250,000. But so there is a bidding happening here. You do have to be able to do best price. But, if this is what you do, that's not a problem. The thing is, you'll find out right away whether or not you win or lose. And when I say right away, it can be a couple days. It can be a couple days. It could be maybe a week or so. Let me go back to all opportunities. So we have lodging here, cable assembly, a Toyota forklift, if somebody has one, office furniture and supplies, the power tools, mini excavator, right? Portable toilets, right? This is going to the DHS, right?
Wow.
Furniture, laptops, Pearson online education course. Interesting. There is no lie. I
Cleaning
mean,
supplies. I see cleaning supplies,
cleaning
lab supplies.
supplies, lab supplies. What do they want? They tell you exactly what they want: hand sanitizer, bleach. I mean, there's so many of these right now. If anybody can get their hands on any of this stuff,
So
you're
the guy that stocked up like 17,000 pieces of hand sanitizer should be on this, right?
yeah. Well, he was a like a I don't know if he
Amazon.
was a prepper or one of those couponers, but that ain't even enough. I mean, the amount of solicitations that I see and requests for stuff like this, if you have access to it, call me today. Because I mean, it's a $20 million come up if you have access to any of this kind of stuff. Hand sanitizer, bleach, hand soap, gloves, masks, any PPE, that's all day.
Okay.
That's all day. Okay. But let me see. I saw one in here the other day when I was telling you they buy everything, and you was like, "Yeah, all right, Serena, I remember you saying
No,
that." I saw one for
no.
dirt.
Like, so for the record, I said in the beginning, you actually sent me a contract. You told me to bid on this contract.
I
And it
did.
was a contract for books. Now, I can't remember exactly which financial guru it was. I don't remember if it was Robert Kiyosaki and
Mm-hmm.
one of the Rich Dad Poor Dad books, or if it was David Koch, not
It
Koch.
was somebody.
Yeah, it was a real estate guy. So it was one of them. And I was like, wow, I probably could find these books, but I got busy. I got distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have done it. Because right now, I would love to have another income stream.
Yeah. So this kind of stuff.
It would actually be a value add to my clients that I work with also. So yeah.
Exactly. So here's a canine kenneling service for the people that don't believe that veterinarians, is that their names?
So
Yeah.
veterinarians can make money and
Yeah, and this is at the border protection. So the same, I mean, and this is how they buy dog food too.
So
And
what
then,
about a photographer? I see a photographer on.
okay.
I'm trying to see anybody else who I recognize their industry.
I mean, and the way that you do that is pretty simple. If you go to, there's a site. I mean, I don't particularly care for it too much, but it's there. But it's beta.sam. It's betasam.gov, and you can put in photography and then put awards and see what kind of awards have been made for that. To find out what the government buys. Hospitality and food service. I think you asked me about that, right? So there's food equipment, there's range stuff. And this is only right now. These are active. The thing about this particular system is almost works like the eBay system, but it's for federal agencies.
So is that a youth symposium?
Yes, that's a youth symposium in Raleigh, North Carolina in July. And let's see what they want. Hotel rooms, meeting space, breakfast meals. This is for an event planner, event coordinator in heaven. It's a heaven opportunity. They tell you exactly what they want. So you don't have to come up with the proposal. That's the other thing, Kamari, about, hold on, let me go back. Am I back to you? Yeah, that's the other thing about doing business with the federal government. They tell you exactly what they need. You don't have to figure it out and put in, and submit what you think would be best. They say specifically, this is what I want. Sometimes model and part number, making your job really easy. So here's what I'm doing. I have a federal contracting boot camp, right? And what I do is it's 25 people. Right now, my classes are beta classes because I'm actually proving a point, right? I believe that that the training for small businesses needs to be reevaluated by the SBA. I believe it's antiquated and it's misleading to small businesses. If you go on the SBA.gov right now, which is the Small Business Administration, if you click on federal contracting, how to do business with the federal government. It's going to take you to a site that I don't even use for opportunities. And I've won contracts. It's going to take you to what used to be Fed Biz Ops. I don't go there for contracts. By the time they get there, I feel like they already know who they're going to pick for those contracts. So I do contracts that are not publicly, not in the public. I show my students how to get ahead of opportunities. When the budget is done, every agency has a forecast. It's public information. You can see what they plan on buying in what quarter, how much they might spend, the name, email, and phone number for the person that got the money to spend.
So basically, you're talking about being proactive instead of being reactive.
Well, you know, that's what my superpower is. I see opportunity where other people see obstacles. Right? They're not. I don't look for only what you see in plain daylight. I'm in the shadows with it. You know, I always have a different strategy. I'm always in a lane somewhere else. So I teach my students how to do the same thing. So we meet on Zoom on Mondays for 2 hours for 6 weeks. I'm like hand holding these small businesses, these CEOs, or even some are solopreneurs, you know, just getting started. When they want to resell, they want to find out how to source it, mark it up, and submit it. We're working with them too. Everybody's in this class together. We meet on Zoom. We have a private Facebook group just for our class, and I'm taking them week by week. I'm taking them through opportunities, helping them to get registered, showing them the ropes, giving them just crazy information.
So, all right, well, let's take a step back real quick. I mean, who can do these opportunities? Can small business owners do them? Can returning citizens do them? You know, convicted felons that are coming back home. Can stay-at-home moms do them? I mean, who's ideal for this?
Ideal is basically anyone. If you have federal convictions and things like that, then I don't know. You have to look that up, and you can look that up easily on SBA.gov. But that doesn't mean that you can't work with a company who does not. You know, it's never no for me. It's never no. There's always a different way. Yeah, there's always a workaround. It's never no. So anyone, sole proprietor, LLC, it doesn't matter. And here's the other thing: you can have a printing IT company, right? Or maybe you do, I don't know, something in IT. If you come across an opportunity to supply toilet paper, there's no rule that says, oh, you just do IT, just do IT. You can do toilet paper. If you can get the thing, if you can source the product, mark it up, and submit it at a price that they want, there's no, like, you can't do that.
And so to do micro purchases, do you recommend being 8A, or 8A isn't necessary for this?
8A is not necessary for micro purchases at all. So for the micro purchases, you do want to have, I show you how to put together your capability statement. So you do want to zero in on something you're going to provide. Now,
let's back up for a minute, because I saw a conversation somewhere online, and somebody was talking about capability statement, and they didn't understand it. So can you break down really quickly what a capability statement is?
A capability statement is just a one-pager that talks about what your business provides. That's it. It's like old school brochure, but just in one page, just 8.5 by 11. It has your company name, a summary. It talks about your designation. So if you are MBE, WBE, whatever, it's almost like a snapshot for the contracting officer to quickly look at it and say, oh, this company does X, Y, Z. Do you understand what I mean?
Not a full-blown business plan. It's not.
Oh, please no. Please no. Please no.
Do you need a business plan to do this?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. You do need a business plan for the 8A certification, but you do not, and that's because it's a business development program. But no, you do not at all. You do not at all.
Just real quick, since we're on the topic, break down what the 8A business development. What does business development mean in this context?
So in this context, the 8A business development program is the program that you literally submit a pretty thorough application, and they want to know about your ownership. You know, they want to make sure that there's some kind of disadvantage that you may be facing that causes it to be more difficult for you to grow and scale your business. So that's something that can be difficult. Like for me, it was, I'm a young Black female in a white male dominated industry. That was enough of an explanation for them to say, okay, there are some things, barriers there for you. So boom, you submit this application with all of this information. You submit your business plan. They want to know that you have the ability to grow and scale, right? They want to know that you have that. You submit all of that. They give you, you're supposed to get a small business specialist, which is a person at SBA that works directly with you, that meets with you, that helps you identify opportunities, like all of that stuff. And then their goal is to help you get contracts. Many of the people that I know that have been 8A certified did 0.00 in contracts. So don't be fooled.
Gotcha.
You have to put in the work. So even when I say I won 5 sole source contracts, some of the people that have been in 8A are like, what? How'd you do that? That was so hard. So everyone's experience is different and everyone's go get them is different.
Right. Well, I think this is a good time to talk about this, right? So I think it was either when we first met, me and Sirena have known each other over a decade. And when I met her, I don't believe you were doing government, but it was like very soon thereafter, doing government contracts. And I remember a conversation we were having about a consultant that you were working with or trying to work with, and you were very frustrated with them. And I think they didn't deliver. I might be off a little bit, but I think about that conversation often because I know there are a lot of quote unquote SBA certified consultants. There's a lot of quote unquote 8A consultants that don't necessarily work directly for SBA, but this is a product or service that they offer to people. And a lot of times they aren't able to deliver. Now, I can't put that on everybody because, on all the consultants, because, it is a very laborious, tedious process. And a lot of times people don't want to do the work. But I remember your frustration because you were doing the work. And so do you remember that at all?
Yeah. So there's 2 different things, right? So there's that 8A piece, which is, I'm going to tell you now, that's more for businesses that are well established. By the time I got into 8A, we were already doing about 1.2 in commercial stuff. So we were well established on the commercial side before we got into 8A.
By the way, folks, I saw that tax return, so she's not pulling that out of her.
So we were doing well on the commercial side, which made it make sense to do the 8A program for us because it was just like, now we can go higher. If we're going to build a federal contracting division, this would be the way to do it, But then there are some companies who try to come in a year into business and jump right into the 8A program. That's a problem because if you do that, even if you win a bunch of 8A contracts, the program is only good for 8 years.
Gotcha.
So you no longer qualify for 8A set aside contracts after you're out of the program. So you could run the risk of getting all 8A business and 9 years going out of business because now you don't have any more contracts because you didn't know how to build your business. Now, in terms of working with consultants, absolutely. I've worked with so many people that I've been extremely frustrated with. And I think that's what makes me really good at what I do now. Because I do for other individuals and small businesses what I wish somebody would have done for me. And any one of my students will absolutely tell you that wholeheartedly. Like, Sirena, you are giving it up. One, there's enough out here for everybody. Right. You can't ever have what's supposed to be mine. What God has for me is for me. What God has for you is for you. Like, so I don't have a problem telling you exactly what I use, exactly what I do. You're never my competition. That's never my worry. So if I'm working from that premise, I want to see us all win. At the end of the day, like, I want to see us all win.
Right.
And so, yeah.
And I'm sure that's how you see the world working inside of Fed contracts amongst the people that dominate that industry. They share information, they share knowledge.
Absolutely.
They don't necessarily require you to cut a check
right
to it. But if there is an opportunity to do business together, obviously that you will be some of the first people that they would call.
Absolutely. I mean, so I hope what everybody gets out of this conversation is that this is a true opportunity. While other people are not buying, they're going down, they're going under. Anytime there's an economic crisis, who's buying? Right. Our federal government. You understand? And even think about other industries that you need to be getting into. So we started on this, but the cleaning, definitely. Supplies, definitely. Anything PPE, definitely. Anything medical, for sure. Right. But even for construction, they have makeshift hospitals that they're building all over the country right now. So these are not, you're not building a skyscraper, but they need to come repurpose some properties. Real estate, even there are contracts just for real estate. We need X amount of square footage in this city at this day, by this day. I'm paying X amount. Like those are contracts that are out there. But here's the one thing that I've been looking at, right? With how much money was just released? How much trillion? How many trillion? How much?
2.2.
2.2. $2.2 trillion, right? I don't even understand how much money that is, right? It's beyond my understanding. But 2.2 trillion, only this much of it is for social services, right? That's the food stamps, the money, to you get your little stimulus check, get your lights done, and like the social services, keeping the citizens happy. This much of it. It don't take that much to do what needs to be done, right? There is now there's this huge number that is going into purchasing. The crazy thing, and I'm no economist, Kamari, I know you stay up on this stuff. I don't watch the news, so crazy thing is the purchases that need to be made, we're about to go source to the same place we always been sourcing from, which is China, because they still make the stuff. Am I lying or what? Their economy is going to get a deep infusion of money because we still source everything overseas. If you're smart, if you do have any access to any kind of money and like 3D printers or things where you can produce things fast, like on-demand printing of whatever, masks, shields, anything that you can get into manufacturing, this is where I would be looking. Holla at me if you got some ideas specifically about, like, seriously, because there's still this wide open opportunity. That money is going to go back.
Yeah.
Over there. Because we purchasing is still happening, but the source of the product is still not here.
Very true.
I'm very just true. Saying. So what can you get here? Yeah.
That's a good thought right there. Well, I know we are about 45 minutes-ish into this. I don't want to take up your entire Saturday because I know you got family business to tend to, other things to tend to. But if you could just stay on for a little while longer, I know we have a bunch of questions.
That
are asking. So give me one.
You said you're on Facebook? You're broadcasting on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. Starting at the top. Hey, Keith, over on YouTube, he said he can see it, but need to zoom. Okay, I think I made it bigger. Shanita Williams, yes, you can see it. Great. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Alicia Verdell can see it. All right, perfect. Adrienne Jordan, what is the name of the website? Just got on. I want to say that website was beta.sam.gov.
No, the website that I just showed.
No, you mentioned, and I'm not sure at what point during the broadcast were they asking, but what was the other one you showed just in case?
The one that I showed with the opportunities is called fedbid.com. And now here's the interesting thing, and I teach this to my students, right? So there, you do have to have some registrations in order to get on there. So you just can't just go on there. You can go on there, but you can't participate unless you have other certifications. So it is a .com because it's a buy portal. Usually I tell people to stay away from anything .com when we're talking federal because it should be .gov, right? But fedbid.com and Unison Global Marketplace or whatever is a medium that the federal government has used for many, many years to facilitate basically auction type bid opportunities. So it is absolutely legit. There, like I said, there are other certifications you need, and you also need to know how to do it. So if that's one of the things we teach in the class as well.
Okay. Good morning, Rhonda. How are you today? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Keita said SBA.gov.
And so SBA.gov is going to be SBA.gov is information. That's not opportunity. SBA.gov is an information site. That's where you find out about everything.
Okay. This is interesting. So Karan is a photographer / videographer that does wonderful work. That's who I was thinking about.
Okay.
When, we talked about governments, and he said that he wants in. So just hold your horses, Karan. We'll give you more information in a minute. Brother Wayne, thank you for joining. Awesome info. Funny if you're ever seen The Wire, Stringer Bell could have used you. Yeah. Did you watch The Wire, Sirena?
No.
Yeah, he's right.
Why?
Right. Okay, real quick. The Wire. I'm super duper fan. Probably one of the greatest HBO series ever. Basically, talks about Baltimore and their drug trade, government corruption, and overseas drug trafficking. So they went from the streets to the government to even international drug dealing. And they just showed every level of it, which actually takes place every day. And so,
really,
yeah. So the two main characters, I shouldn't even say main, right? I probably should say the two most famous characters was Stringer Bell, which is Elba, and Avon Barksdale, which is Wood Harris. With them. So they were partners. And so Idris Elba they both were street guys. Idris Stringer Bell wanted to get out the game. He wanted to be legitimate. Avon Barksdale was the guy. All he cared about was selling drugs in the hood. That's his thing. And so Stringer was going to college and learning about economics. And they did all these funny scenes with him using these economic terms with his street level drug dealers. It was very hilarious. But ultimately, he was looking for opportunities to wash their money and do things. And he got burned a couple of times by some politicians. So I get exactly why.
There is a movie called now I don't recommend it now because they, that their language is just a little much for my ears. But
yes, Sirena is a hardcore Christian. Everybody,
listen. I'm in relationship. There's a difference. There's a lot of people out here. But that's a different conversation for a different day.
Yes, it is.
War Dogs is a movie about, I think you saw that.
Yes.
They were like arms dealers for the federal government. What's crazy is like that's how it used to be though. Like there are some FAR regulations that are in effect because of what they did. That was a true story.
Right, that was a true story, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So you got the info. All right. Yes, this is recorded. It is live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. FAD recall audits. I don't know what that is, Rhonda.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay. That's how you feel. Oh, go ahead, Serena.
I don't know if in terms of the if you want more information about the course, we have like 15 seats available.
Hold on 1 second, Serena. We're gonna come to that.
Oh, okay.
All right, great interview. Really enjoyed Serena's perspective on seeing opportunity during a crisis. Absolutely.
You have to, yes, you have to see opportunity right now. That's what needs to be talked about more.
Right, and Baron Rothschild, everybody loves to demonize the Rothschilds, but he said when there's blood on the street, it's time to buy. And so that doesn't just apply to the stock market. That applies to everything in life. And what they mean by buy, right, is not necessarily buy and like sell or flip, but buy into the opportunity as well. So, right. So there's different levels to it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you can buy stock, right? Yeah, you can buy real estate, right? Yeah, but what is the overall opportunity and where do you see the greatest benefit? Everybody knows I love the stock market. That's no lie, but I love business overall.
Right.
And that's why I love the stock market,
Right.
because to me, that's the greatest exhibit of business on the highest level that we can see every day. However, in times like this, in very extraordinary times, federal contracting and even some other opportunities make for great things. So when you
And
say buy, it's not just something tangible. Sometimes you got to buy into the idea also.
And can I just say this while you're going through the comments? Here's the thing. What I'm teaching, I don't teach get rich quick stuff. And I know Kamari's not into that either. I'm
No, I
not
am
into
not.
that. I'm not into it. So the one thing that you do need to understand is what you learn from me is how to build for now and for the future. Like ultimately, every single small business should at least know how to do business with the federal government. They should at least be in position to respond to solicitations if you decide to go that route, or to understand the federal procurement process, because there's always opportunity here. Always. Yeah.
Okay. I will link up everything. We'll talk about everything before we leave in terms of linking up. Karan says, my family owns a property management company, and I have been thinking of us getting into cleaning as a service we offer, but mainly on a commercial level. Okay, great, great.
You should. You absolutely should.
Now, Serena, I think this is a great question for you. Andrew Sterling, shout out to Andrew, my Temple University alum. How do you overcome no prior federal contracting experience?
So I actually am working with a group from Cheney University, right? I spoke with them. I spoke there on the 28th. And I'm doing a class with them specifically, these businesses from Cheney, and no experience at all. This is specifically why I introduced federal contracting on the micro purchase level and not on the come in at the $100 million contract level. So I introduce you to small buys, to micro purchases. So that's, they could be 3,000, they can be 5,000, they could be 10,000. But that's the first thing. So you don't have to have I didn't have any experience when I first started, right? You got to start somewhere. And so, make sure that when you do start, you're not trying to start at the top. And let me just say this: there's a couple things too that people are worried about, minorities and women, and they're doing away with some of the designations in an effort to hurry up and buy some things. I'm never afraid of, okay, the big businesses are going to come, they're going to eat up everything. The big businesses don't want the small contracts. This is why this is always a lane. It's always a lane. They don't want micro purchases. It doesn't make sense. That's how we built $100 million company with Boeing aircraft parts, because the spare parts, those little spare parts for the fighter jets, is this much of their business. So we're in this lane killing it, right? They don't care because that's not their big business. So again, you overcome it by, one, getting with someone that can prove that they've won contracts. Two, getting in on the lower level and not coming in at the top.
Start small. Everybody, I want everybody to remember what Serena said, because I run into this question or this mindset all the time. She said, start where you are. So everybody type in start where you are in the chat. Start where you are. I mean, it's really just that simple.
My favorite quote: do what you can where you are with what you have.
Now, was that
Story of my
Frederick
life.
Douglass? Who was it?
No, that's actually
Because
Theodore
I love
Roosevelt.
that quote too.
Roosevelt.
Got you. Because it's so real, right? A lot of times people say, do all these grandiose business plans. And I know I get pushback on this all the time. I am not the biggest business plan fan.
Neither am I.
Because I feel like it staggers what you're going to do. Now, I am a big fan of thinking, though, right?
Right.
You can write down and you can plan, but sometimes the business plans are good if you don't know the language. However, business plans, a lot of times, in my opinion, slow down the overall process.
Yeah, I'm
So,
not a big business plan person at all.
right. So, yeah, start where you are. All right. So, everybody, I appreciate everybody being here, taking the time out, getting this information. Please use it. Now, Sirena, I know you've worked out a couple of things for my audience tonight. Everybody wants to know about the class. Please tell them how you can be helpful and them making money, not get rich quick, folks, not
No,
get rich quick, but
no,
get wealthy, right? We
right.
ain't about the rich life, we about the wealthy life. So, Serena, please tell everybody about what you're doing.
Sure. So the federal contract. Do y'all hear my kids in the background? Like, does it sound like a gym in here?
I don't hear them.
Oh, okay, good. I'm just checking. So my 6 week federal contracting virtual boot camp. The second cohort starts on May the 11th. That's a Monday. We meet every single Monday for 2 hours via Zoom, the entire class. And then we have the private Facebook group where I actually basically teach a whole nother class in Facebook, and then provide a lot of hand holding and resources. If I come up with stuff or if I see opportunities, I'm putting them in there because I'm literally hand holding. And in exchange for me like offering this at a really, really low price, I'm asking for your feedback. So there are post-class surveys and things like that because we're building data, right? We're building data to show that this kind of training works. The regular price is $797. It's $797. That's the price for all 6 weeks. The regular price, the retail price, it's $29.97. Yeah, I've paid $3,500 for 1 day of training at a hotel before, because this is business building. We're not, this is business building. What I have offered to you guys, once you go into the website, is there is a payment plan option. I do not typically do a payment plan option. We usually do it just like it is what it is. But there's a payment plan option there now. And so you can go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/FedCon SMT. So basically Fed contracts Sirena Moore Thomas. So FedCon SMT. Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, Serena, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you have questions, if you have specific questions about something or whatever, you can certainly, send them to Kamari. He'll definitely get in touch with me. You can follow me on Instagram and stuff, bossmomwife_life. And I'm here on social media, and yeah, Sirena Thomas.
Now, I want y'all to understand what just happened. We talked about contracts. We gave you immense value. And this is not a commercial. This is actually an opportunity. There's a difference. $797 is a drop in the bucket when we're talking about getting into a $128 billion industry. Now, I didn't just make that number up. Right? I didn't pull it out of my ass. Now, y'all should know me well enough by now, and y'all been rocking with me. I like to do research. I like data. So basically, 128 billion is what they spent, what the federal government spent with small businesses in 2018. So to spend to invest $797 to learn about this opportunity and to learn about how to potentially make millions of dollars and increase the wealth of you, yourself, your family, and your community. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And again, I don't say that just to hype it up.
Right.
I mean that, again, me and Sirena have been friends for over a decade, and I've seen the work that she's done. I've seen the blood, sweat, and tears. So we looking good now. She looking all pretty and got that beautiful smile over there with her glasses on. But since the girl done this and things, she's definitely a true steward and definitely serious about this opportunity. So
yeah.
don't.
And this is I really appreciate that, Kamari. And this is the thing, like, this is not something I came up with because of COVID-19, right? So I was already going to do this. Yeah, in terms of the class, I announced it in February. I had stopped teaching this for a while because, to be quite honest, I started getting frustrated with small businesses that were like Kamari not listening to me. I'm like, Kamari, I need you to set a price for this. Like, I know you can do this. And they would be like, I got busy and I didn't. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm not going to keep screaming this stuff. I'm just going to go over here and do it. And then that's it. So this is the cohort that I'm teaching right now, and any of my students, I'm telling you, you should probably start seeing their posts because they're starting to share it now for the second one. They will tell you I'm over delivering. But this is the first time that I've taken 25 businesses handheld, their like hand holding for 6 weeks to tell you as much as you want to know. And it's organized. So I have some stuff that I share systematically, but you have access to me. First of all, you can ask somebody a question. Like I didn't have that. I had to figure it out. So,
did y'all hear that? She just gave me shade on my own show, right?
I'm sorry. I mean, you opened the door.
Hold on. But it's truthful, right? So I gotta own it. I gotta own it. I love it.
They were frustrating me.
Yes, I listen. I mean, I can see that because I know oftentimes I get frustrated with my clients because listen, none of us are perfect, but some things like are just textbook. They're the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s. It's just the basics that we gotta hit. And, a lot of times we don't want to do that. Sirena also talked about, being frustrated with small businesses because you have a lot of small businesses who complain about government contracting, federal, state, and municipal, which is local. But a lot of times their paperwork's not in order. It's not in order.
Right.
They're complaining. You ain't got no right to complain at that point.
No.
You only get the right to complain when you do every step and you check all the boxes. And then you jump through more hoops.
Yeah.
And even then, it's a waste of time to complain because you need to be putting that energy into something else. So, again, thanks everybody for watching this. Everybody said it's a great interview, so I'm assuming you enjoyed this. Again, it's Saturday. Got to let Sirena go. She got family business. But listen, if you can't take advantage of this opportunity right now, share this interview with someone else who could at least take advantage of the knowledge that was shared.
Yeah.
And also the opportunity that Sirena has given today and through her classes. So until the next time, everybody stay peaceful, profitable, and safe. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for having me.